back to Leeds Lately. Leeds have just lost 1-0, as you can see above me, to Portsmouth. I press reset on the time, and that's why it says 45 minutes. Wow, really poor that was. I said in my preview, I did think that Portsmouth aren't somebody to be kind of taken lightly. They're not somebody to be scoffed at. The fact that they're there in the league doesn't really tell the true story of their recent weeks and their recent performances. They've been really good. They took the game to Leeds. They were aggressive. They pressed high. They tried to cut the ball out in wide areas and then come forward with it. Their goal itself wasn't great. It was poor from us. Let's talk about their goal, because that came in the second half, but we'll talk about the game overall after that. Their goal, the ball, long ball over the top. Rodon's positioning to start with, not very good, so he gets beat to the ball by Bishop. Meslier, you told as a goalkeeper, even I used to play as a goalkeeper when I was like a little kid, and you told as a goalkeeper, if you're going to come out and challenge, you have to come all the way out and commit. And if you're going to do it, you need to commit early. If you're going to not come out and not commit, you need to stay back and you need to make yourself big and try and save it on the line or just off the line, wherever you want to make your stand. If you come halfway and then kind of bottle out of it and change your mind, that's when you get done. And that's exactly what happened to Meslier here, who should know better than that. Let's just say, though, I'm not blaming this just on Meslier. Poor from Rodon. Defensively, poor positioning. Leeds got done by one long ball. They had other chances in this game, a lot of other chances, but so did Leeds. Leeds, in general, were so poor at finishing, got some really good chances by the end of that game, 5 or 6. I think our XG is more than 2 for that game, and we didn't score a single goal, which is really bad. In terms of actual performance, the passing wasn't good enough, the finishing wasn't good enough, the chance creation didn't come enough in that first half. We were dominated, and in the second half, for large portions of that second half, after half time, we were absolutely dominated by the opposition, by a Portsmouth side who, let's face it, as much credit as I can give them for where they are in the league, they are still only 10 points above the relegation zone. So we should be beating them. And the thing is, whilst I can sit there and say I feel like we've got a better squad than Sheffield United, Sunderland and Burnley, and that we play better football, and that when we actually play against them, we tend to beat them. Even having said that, I think that Burnley, Sheffield United, they probably win that game. Now, I think some of the other top teams have struggled against Portsmouth as well, so it's not just that, but I just think how on earth we didn't score in that game is beyond me. Peru with the first one where Solomon dragged the ball back, had a shot, goalkeeper saves it, good save. Then Peru has a one-on-one with the goalkeeper as it deflects to him whilst the goalkeeper's on the floor. Goalkeeper is able to get up, dive again and save his shot before it goes in the back of the net. So Peru should have done better with that first chance where it came to him. He tried to put it under the goalkeeper. I think either side of him is probably a goal. Second one, again, Solomon down the left-hand side, cuts the ball back across the box to Peru, open net, misses it. Bit later on in the game, we hit the crossbar with a header from Firpo. Firpo gets a one-on-one with the goalkeeper saves it. Byram right at the death with a header that the goalkeeper saves really well. It's like we really should have scored at least one of those chances. And as bad as we were, as poor as we were in this entire game, we should have scored a goal because of the chances we created and how close we came to scoring. We still, I think, could have won that game based off the chances that we created if we could actually score them. We were really poor. I'm not saying anything about that. We were really poor. But we should have scored in that game, and we should have scored multiple goals. And so that's identifying Leeds. So you can tell I've said everything there is to say about the Leeds performance, and the way we played was very poor. As a separate topic of discussion, The refereeing and the standard of refereeing in this division is shocking. And that is coming from a referee who's refereed a load of games in the Premier League, coming down to do a championship game. And Dan James was fouled in the box by Matt Ritchie. He booted the back of Dan James's leg with VAR, or in the Premier League in general. That is given as a penalty every day of the week. But because it's in the Championship, because it's Leeds, for whatever reason, referee decides that that's not a penalty. There was multiple other incidents where the referee got it completely wrong. He was shocking, and the consistency is so bad. We should have had a penalty, which, let's be honest, with the timing of the penalty, which was near the start of the game, if we'd have scored that, this whole game would have been a different bag. It would have been a completely different outcome, I think, if we'd have had that penalty and we've been able to take it and score it. We shouldn't need a penalty. Yes, I hear you saying it in the comments already. You can stop furiously typing. We shouldn't need a penalty to change a game. But sometimes that's the way it works. We had the chance to get a penalty. We should have had one. He booted right through the back of Dan James's leg. It's a Stonewall penalty. The refereeing in general was shocking, and overall we were shocking. But I still think we did enough in this game to be able to score a goal and at least one. I thought, other than Meslier not committing to that particular challenge where it went in the end, Meslier actually had a really good game. He was strong, he was brave, he came out, he punched, he caught, and he did well in general in most situations. Rodon and Strauch were really solid for most of the game, other than that one mistake, which is the one that's led to a goal. Firpo and Bogle, obviously Byram came on later on, but Firpo and Bogle weren't given very much space to do what they usually do, which I think was deliberate by Portsmouth, which I identified in my preview. Gruev and Tanaka. Tanaka was off it today. He really wasn't on it. Gruev is very much a sideways and backwards merchant. James wasn't really able to create anything. Solomon did create a couple of chances, which, yeah, we definitely should have finished. Ramazani, I thought when he came on, he opened things up a little bit. Joseph, shocking again. Really poor from Joseph. Aronson, again, quite poor. Wasn't really able to do much in this game at all. Joel Peru had an absolute stinker in terms of his finishing. Overall, his play wasn't that bad, but his finishing was really bad. Really, really poor. And it's, yeah, so disappointing to see how poor Leeds were in those attacking phases. I think I'm going to do a bit of a tactics video for tomorrow to kind of discuss, or just a little bit of maybe of a discussion video in general to kind of discuss a little bit more in detail the discourse that happens whenever we lose a game. So it's more going to be about, should we panic? Should we think, oh, that's it, playoffs now, same thing as last season? Or should we just calm down a bit, because that's the first game we've lost since November? So look out for that tomorrow. Of course, there's videos on the channel all the time. Thanks for watching Leeds Lately, though. Very disappointing result, very disappointing fixture, but we need to move on, and we need to try and be a little bit more positive. And I know that's quite hard because that was really poor, really poor. Thanks for watching Leeds Lately, though, and I'll see you in the next one.